Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with Chip. What is going on, Chip? Good co-host. Always live here, having some fun. We're going to get into some amazing things tonight. Number one is we're going to cover the financial system. Why do we got to cover the financial system? Because it's not just being disrupted anymore. It's being rebuilt in real time. We're watching this thing in real time, the major shift with crypto. We got to see what kind of crypto policy we're going to get. We're actually watching the pieces fall into place. XRP rails, Flare smart execution, and the biggest payment networks on earth are stepping into crypto. That's right. Some of the topics tonight that we're going to get into: Mastercard launching crypto partner program with 85 companies. That's pretty big. Ripple expanding global licensing. Australia might be on the list. 50 billion, that's right, billion with a B, Ripple buyback rumors. And Chip, when we get into the geopolitics, and sometimes it's kind of feel-good stuff because more companies are fleeing blue states, more companies leaving California, and they're coming to places like Florida and Georgia. So we're going to get into that, and a huge presidential shift over in Chile. We've got to cover that one. That's big news for South America and China. We're going to talk about some energy shortage over there. So lots to cover. You guys hang in there. Give a shout out where you're coming in from. And Chip, if you're ready to kick this thing off.
Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Yes, indeed. Jeff, what a day I had yesterday. Wake up, no power. Get a call from the water company. 1,100 gallons or a minute. I think we have a water leak. You think? Is any in your house flooded? No. So I go outside and find it all bubbling out next to my driveway, just pouring out. So I was like, it was one of those days, man. One of those days. Speaking of days, look at this right here. We talked a little bit about Flare. Hugo Filion. Look at this. So Hugo, who I had the chance to meet in New York. Hugo is the founder and the CEO of Flare. And Bloomberg put this story out. Jeff, read this story. This is hard to understand or even have it. I don't even believe why they're doing this stupid thing.
Even grass. So, Hugo, we'll go to Hugo's comment first, or should we read this first?
Let's read this first, then we'll talk.
Kind of like Hugo's comment. But Winston Churchill, who's on the one of those banknotes over in the UK, will soon disappear from UK banknotes as the cigar-toting wartime leader makes way for creatures like hedgehogs and badgers. After a public consultation, the next generation of pound notes will feature native British wildlife, according to the Bank of England. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the wildlife being on your bills. Kind of like, some of the historical leaders being on the bills makes a little bit more sense. But I like Hugo. I can't anymore with the UK. It's so sad. Too sad. Finally, time for me to look to the USA as the last bastion of democracy and sanity. USA.
Amen. Look at that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give that I'm going to big like and say, I'm going to quote this puppy. And I'm going to say, we need more patriots. Welcome.
Right.
Welcome to the
jungle.
Welcome to the jungle. We need more patriots. Welcome to the last bastion of sanity.
Sanity. I like that.
There we go. And then we're going to post that puppy up there. Bam. There it is. That's how you do it. I love posting stuff during the show in real time. I mean, it's funny because when Trump said last week, when he talked about Keir Starmer, he said he's no Churchill, and they're like, I mean, why would you get rid of Churchill on the notes? You're gonna put like hedgehogs on there? Like, it's so stupid. Like, your country stands for nothing, and you want to get rid of, and it's funny. A lot of people, if you don't do the deep dives, like Churchill was treated so poorly. The guy single-handedly stood up. The only one in Europe, by the way. Everybody else rolled over like, oh, you want to come in? Sure, come on in. Take whatever you want. The Nazis were rolling across Europe. And he's like, hell no. He stood up. He was banging his desk. He was smoking his cigar. And, of course, the left, people think this left is a new thing, but the leftists totally tortured him. They wrote these horrible stories about him, and they basically forced him out of office. I mean, the guy basically single-handedly, got the U.S. and the U.S. got involved, and he single-handedly was the only country in Europe to stand up to Nazis.
Yeah, thank you.
And the left came in and rolled in and tried to rewrite history, as they always do. There's nothing new.
Of course,
Jeff. Nobody's really that. But this is this is such a huge story right here. Mastercard
on the big TV.
Oh my gosh, I'm very intimidated now. Holy cow. Big TV. Oh yeah, how about this? Boom. Oh my god. Whoa. Hey now, we're on the big TV, Jeff.
Now we're on the big TV. That's
We're
too
on the
big.
TV. That's too big for me. Even that's too big. It's too big. Look at this right here. This is a crazy story. And this we've been talking about this for years, but digital assets are entering a new phase. This is from Mastercard. What runs parallel in existing financial system is increasingly being applied to solve practical real-world needs, often behind the scenes, from cross-border remittances to B2B money transfers. This creates new opportunities and values in how money moves globally. This doesn't sound new to us, but it is new coming from Mastercard. So today we've introduced the Mastercard Crypto Partner Program. It's a global initiative that brings more than 85. Now, this would be interesting if you roll this out. We're going to bring 10 of the top or 5 of the top or 6, 85. They've been at this for a little bit. A global initiative that brings together 85 crypto native companies. Insane. Payment providers, financial institutions, together we're creating a forum for meaningful dialogue and collaboration as this space begins to mature. And here's the story they had on the thing, and I thought this part right here was interesting. Where was it? Yeah, right here. So, built for innovators, designed for deployment. So this program reflects a core belief that the next phase of on-chain payments will be built through collaboration. This is key. There's not like, this is the solution, this is the company, this is the exchange, this is that financial institution. No, it's all about if you're going to get mass adoption, you find people where they're at. And of course, you're going to recognize a lot of the names here, but through the program, the participants will engage with Mastercard teams on the design and direction of future products and services, including solutions that aim to bring the speed, programmability that digital assets offer with established card rails and global commerce flows. By creating the shared framework for collaboration, the program helps align innovation across an ecosystem while supporting consistent standards and responsible growth. The focus is practical execution, translating technical innovation into scalable, compliant use cases that can operate against markets. And this is interesting because, MasterCard and Visa have always been big competitors in the US, right? But MasterCard quick to implement this. I know Visa's trying to do a lot of their own stuff, but I don't know, this seems like a better methodology, Jeff. What do you think?
Yeah, I like, the move. I think it, definitely builds a little bit of community engagement. It shows that they're kind of on board, so I think it makes a big difference. It's not just hype. It's, hey, they're dipping their toe into a space that they see that's expanding on a rapid basis. And there you go. I mean, this is the next wave of big financial opportunities. Why would they want to miss out? Why are others sitting on the sidelines? Why is the left trying to continuously crush crypto? So, but there you go. Private industry gets to embrace it and move forward. This is a great graphic. It shows, the partnership, shows the direction that they're thinking. This is really net positive.
Yeah, so many great things like Circle in there. You see MoonPay is in there. Amazing company, Paxos. I mean, just huge PayPal. It's massive. Polygon's in there. It's just a huge thing that you're going to see. And there's Ripple too. Sardine, Shift, SoFi. I mean, a lot of the big financial institutions are in here. It really is incredible to see this go down. Amazing. Ripple put this post up here that digital assets are moving from experimentation, good choice of words there, to real world use. We see collaboration across ecosystems, the key to connecting on-chain innovation with trusted global payments infrastructure. Initiatives like the Mastercard Crypto Partner Program help bring builders, networks, and financial institutions closer together. And that is well said.
A great statement.
Yeah, it's a great statement. And Ripple's obviously been on the move. They've been doing a lot too, but I'm going to play this video too because they've got a new bank.
Nonstop.
How many banking licenses can these guys get? I mean, they're just like, they're rocking these guys. I mean, it's nonstop.
Look at that. Luke saying we forgot the shape. And we're trying to grow out a little bit like Luke.
Yeah, we didn't. There's no shade, no shade. We're trying to we're trying to catch up to Luke and some of the other people in the chat here, so we have to. That was Jeff. When I first said, they were like, "Yeah, dude, we haven't shaved in all week." I was like, it's been a whole deal with not shaving, but that's all right. I go, dude, I didn't shave. He goes, me either. I'm like, all right, good. The non-shaved twins. Here we go. Let's do it. But check this out, Jeff. This is something new from Ripple.
APAC continues to lead in digital asset adoption and innovation. We're seeing real momentum with financial institutions and with banks. That's why securing our Australian financial services license is such an important milestone. Customers in Australia will be able to leverage Ripple payments for real-time settlement, global on and off ramps, and last-mile payouts, all managed end-to-end with Ripple. With more than 75 licenses worldwide, Ripple continues to lead on responsible regulation, and APAC is a major driver of that growth. We're excited to keep building across the region and to support the next phase of institutional adoption throughout Asia Pacific.
Jeff, I'm looking at her do this read. I'm like, is that Monica Long's long lost Australian sister? I'm like,
it looks it does look.
I mean, they almost look like they could be sisters. Like it's their Aussie. So down in Oz, you got this Monica Long, the Aussie version of Monica Long. Gotta love it. But they just keep rolling, man, and it's remarkable. And something else that's been pretty cool too. We read, I think it was a week and a half ago, when Ripple talked about their decentralization, about starting some new things going on. I mean, really support, like having the Zao DAO be the voice for with things, the community, the decentralized voice, and sort of offloading the XRPL Commons. And of course, there's some new initiatives over in Asia. And Marcus Infinger, who's an SVP over there at Ripple, he was recently on the Block podcast, and he was asked this question. I thought this is pretty interesting, but he was asked about Zao DAO on the Block crypto podcast. Listen to this.
What's the Zao DAO, and how much power will sort of go to that community?
I would say it's a relatively newly formed entity in the wider XRP Ledger kind of like ecosystem. It's essentially decentralized autonomous organization, like what DAO obviously implicates or implies, sorry. And it's built specifically, for the XRP Ledger, kind of like as a governance layers to address some of the ecosystem fragmentation, to provide more of the community to have a vote on certain items, to get involved. And I would say it's a sign of more of the same that we've been seeing. We also announced recently a new APAC hub, so sort of like an XRP Ledger ecosystem entity just focused on the APAC market, helping developers getting involved. And look, there's a core belief behind. We as Ripple, we want to see more other strong stakeholders in this ecosystem, because ultimately, if you think about this movement, it's really a movement that's powered by the thought of decentralization. And I think the blockchain ecosystem that will stand the test of time will be those that have several strong ecosystem entities collaborating together for basically use cases and good outcomes for these respective ecosystems. So excited to see what will come out of Zao DAO.
Zao DAO, empowering collaboration, fueling innovation. Learn more at zaodao.io.
Okay, and then in there, I did go ahead and put my the link in there for app.Zao DAO, but you guys can click on that and join the Zao DAO. And I will tell you, how many members is the Zao DAO up to? Let me go here and look. 896, Jeff. Look at that. I mean, right there, 896.
It's on its way.
It's on its way. So 1,000. At 1,000, there will be start writing proposals, and people can start submitting those. But 896, so 104 away from 1,000. 1,000 is consensus, so people can start submitting, different proposals. And so that's going to be really interesting to see how that comes together and see what kind of people put out there. I know Dirk from Expector put one out there, and obviously just kind of floating around. It's a little bit too early because it's not accepting it yet, but just kind of like getting ahead of the game, which is kind of cool in its own way. And so it's interesting to see kind of track the progress of Zao DAO, but you guys can click there. It's $10, one-time fee, unless Jeff writes his proposal. One-time fee, and it is the equivalent of $10 in XRP. You pay an XRP, but it's $10 USD, so United States dollar there. So that's it right there. Take this one, Jeff. This one's about Gardling House, kind of giving us a state of what's been going on with him and the team lately.
Man, and they seem to be everywhere. 3 continents, 4 global office visits, 5 days. I mean, that's pretty massive. That's pretty fast. Short timing. I've done those kind of back-to-back trips like that.
Kicks your ass.
Fun, and it kicks your ass all at the same time. Crossed too many time zones to count. Recently, Monica Long and I, along with others on the Ripple leadership team, traveled to Dublin, London, Singapore, and Sydney. That's a stretch. To meet with the Ripple team, many of whom joined from our acquisitions of G Treasury, Hidden Road, Rail, Palisade, and Solvexia. A few notes from the road. Number 1, centers of gravity, business and or employee are never stagnant, and getting out of the U.S. coastal mindset is imperative. It was incredibly energizing to hear from the new and longtime Ripplers on what moves the needle, and where they are. Number 2, culture cannot be taken for granted. More than ever, we're championing a maniacal focus and eliminating bureaucracy for employees to be owners. Don't confuse activity with progress. Interesting.
It's huge.
It's huge. There's a lot of points here. Number 3, adoption doesn't happen overnight. I like this one. Platforms point. Would this be platforms are greater than
Yes.
point solutions? Is that how that would read?
Sort of think so.
Platforms are greater than point solutions. Meet customers where they are, not where they might be in a couple of years. That's good too. If you try to forecast out so many years, you're too early to the game. So do it right now.
That's the Mastercard crypto program, right? Where people are. You're a Mastercard holder, and you want to go ahead and you can leverage any of that. You also are a fan of Ripple. It's fantastic.
Number 4, this is interesting. AI is becoming a fundamental part of our products, especially in cash forecasting and liquidity management in real time for the office of the CFO. Employee productivity may be where AI starts, but the end goal is much bigger. Interesting. I wonder where that's heading. Big things happening. Think about how AI can really, fundamentally transform the way that all this oversight is going to work for liquidity. I mean, you were talking about huge sums of money to provide for liquidity. Huge. Number 5, 2026 is shaping up to be another defining year. Spot on. Man, we're in the right markets with the right capabilities across payments, custody, liquidity, and treasury management. There's a huge opportunity ahead, and we are making sure XRP is at the center of it. Look at that. Look at that. 5 top points.
This is great. I'd love to see more of this.
That's
I
really,
think this is great, having the CEO kind of give these updates. I think it's fantastic. Kind of because one of the cool things that he said in here, which I really relate to, because I think we all get caught up in this. Don't confuse activity with progress. So you're busy, you're doing stuff during the day, you're working, you're doing your stuff. But I have to constantly ask myself the question, is this moving it forward? Is it pushing it ahead? Or am I just busy? Because a lot of times you get stuck with busy work.
Yeah.
And you should be able to offload that busy work to like AI or the stuff that wastes a lot of your time that doesn't help you sort of move it forward. So that's where I think that he's so spot on. That really resonated with me. Stu Alderati, the general counsel for Ripple. This is interesting. Okay, so he said, great catching up with Senator Gillibrand over lunch this weekend in sunny Florida. He lives in Delray Beach, Jeff.
Oh, that's right. He does.
And her tireless and steady leadership on market structure should give everyone optimism that this can get done on a bipartisan basis. And if you guys don't know, Senator Gillibrand is a Democrat, but she's one of the very few that has, and she's a senator, which, the House is a little bit different. But in the Senate, she's one of the very few true leaders in the Senate that's championed crypto, and she's a Democrat. And really, what Stu's saying here is this is not a partisan thing. And it should never be a partisan thing. But Senator Gillibrand has been very pro-crypto. And again, in the Senate, I think of the Senate as a place where things go to die, Jeff. There's so many rhinos in there. There's so many. There are so much knuckleheads. I'd like to line them all up, all 100, and just run down the line, smacking everyone in the face. Because they're all knuckleheads, most of them. But
True.
and I love this too, because you've seen Stu with taking photos with the president, along with Brad Garlinghouse, being very involved. But this is really what it's about. This is bipartisan issue. It should never be a partisan issue. It shouldn't be the right versus the left. It should be, we all want to win together. We all want decentralization, and it all works together. What are your thoughts? It's good to see. I think it's a great development here.
I think it's net positive. Yep. This is feel good news. For sure, especially if we're looking to move the needle forward. Within the Senate for crypto. So we've got to have like minds come together. There have to be people that are involved at the industry level and at the legal level that kind of understand the dynamic. Putting it together, I like that. I like that. I like the imagery. I like where it's going. Here's the big question, though. With Stu Alderati, I thought for some reason he was in West Palm Beach area, but if he's in Delray Beach, I wonder if he shops at the Boys Market.
I would hope so, man. I've not seen him there, but doesn't mean. You guys don't know, the Boys Market's a great place in Delray Beach, where they have tons. Well, it's great vegetables, really inexpensively, but they have I mean, they're like you can they've got the food that you can prepackage. I don't know what you call that, Jeff. Like, you get prepackage your food or whatever, the
Prepared food.
Get stuff for the week. You want some lasagna? There's lasagna. You want to get this? And it's really good too. It's really phenomenal. Great fish market there.
They
as
have
well.
an amazing cheese section.
Cheese is fantastic. The whole place is, and it's like you go in there and you can rest assured that you're going to get banged into at least 3 times in there. Bang, people backing up because the aisles are super small. It's a small place.
Yeah.
And there's like no room for the carts. The carts are those tiny carts, but you can't. It's like wherever you stand for a second, people are hitting you. Excuse me, move. It's like I feel like you're in New York City. It's like you're like constantly getting hammered.
As is the parking lot.
I've been going to the Boys for more than 25 years now. I love it.
I love the Boys.
The place is great.
The Boys is great. Then they have the girls. Then they have grandmas.
Yeah, the girls.
The girls got good ice cream. Yeah.
I don't know.
And the cousins run the AC repair shop.
Okay, there you go. Look at that. It's a great place. And this was big. Crypto posted this, and this is the first time, because I wrote in a post today that Ripple, a $40 billion company, and I was wrong. Look at this. This is Ripple kicks off share buyback at $50 billion valuation.
50
That's
billion.
huge. This is for $50 billion. When did they get that?
That's rocketing.
It must have been the latest acquisition. I remember when we started tracking Ripple, they were in the $4 to $5 billion range as a company. Now they're up to 50. Soon they'll be $100 billion. But these acquisitions have probably certainly added. But company evaluated at $50 billion. Wow. How times have changed. That's very cool.
You're right. Yeah, you're right, though, through those major acquisitions.
Yeah, the acquisitions have a lot to do with it. So Rob Licker, who's a friend of the channel, and I got to meet Rob finally in person when I was at the Swell in New York, and I was hanging out with him at XRP. We met at XRP Community Night. But there's a picture of Rob with Brad Garlinghouse. I miss Brad. I know we were live streaming. We got David Schwartz walking by and waving.
Oh, that's right.
Remember we had that live. I was live streaming from the event. We had that. But he said perhaps someone who was at the XRP New York City Community Night on November 2025 after Swell can help unravel a mystery that's really bothered me. Ready Player X was kind enough to make this amazing gift coin for Brad Garlinghouse based on the work of MK3D. And he saw Brad, and there it is right there. And then here he posted this. He hates for plugs, but this really bothered me. A lot of us went through to get Garlinghouse's gift. If a bad community member pocketed the coin, it's wrong. I put this out, guys. If you know who took the coin at XRP Community Night last November in New York City, DM me, return the coin, no questions asked. We're trying to get the coin back because it's
coin disappear.
Well, I will tell you exactly. Well, I'll tell you. So I got some more clarification on this here. So he said he was in the elevator. So there was an elevator. I remember Brad got on this elevator, and the elevator went up to the rooftop. I didn't know where they were going at the time. I wish I would have known because it was so crowded and unbelievably busy. But Rob says, I think that Ray Fuentes was in the elevator. I recall the person I handed it to being in a black suit with short hair and athletic build. Looked like security for Brad Garlinghouse, got in the elevator with a few people, and then later returned. I wish I had held on to the coin. So I don't
Well,
know.
why did he give it to him?
I have no idea.
I mean,
Maybe the guy said, "Oh, could I see that?" Or maybe he thought that guy was with Brad. I don't know. I don't know exactly. It's hard to tell from one post what it is, but you know,
a shame.
it's a shame. It was a nice gift, and it's just sad that crap like that has to happen, especially in the community where it was, you know, for somebody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Assuming
really,
it was for somebody in the community. Maybe it was just someone getting in the elevator.
yeah, it's a sad day, Jeff. I mean, I hate when that stuff happens. But
How
moving
long
on.
did-
What's that?
When was it?
It was at XRP Community Night. It was that Wednesday after Swell. Swell was on Tuesday and Tuesday and Wednesday.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, it was in November. But he's bringing it up because it still bothers him. And
Ah,
I mean, it's possible that Brad could have gotten the coin. You know, he doesn't 100% know, but just he didn't hand it to him. So that's who knows. I mean, all I know is if somebody knows something about it, they can come forward and sort of talk about it. Let's not get, you know, let's not lose sight of what's really key here and important. So this woman here, Jeff, I wanted to talk about this. This was something that about Mamdani, the gift that keeps giving. He's the dumbest. And we know why he was elected, because all the foreign-borns, happy St. Patty's Day. Everybody voted for him. Most of the majority were foreign-born, okay, because they're mostly Muslims, and they want Sharia law, and they want to destroy the United States. And they don't stand with freedom. They want people to be treated like, you know, like dirt. And so this woman grew up as a Muslim. She exposes what was missed and what was said at the mosque. Zohan Mandami gave a speech out when he was elected the mayor. She says we missed it because it was in Arabic. Here's what they said, the verse that they at the mosque when you know, his after party here. But listen to this. This is it's a little bit too late. I would have wished we would have caught this like a little bit sooner, but this is going to go completely unnoticed. You won't see it anywhere but here.
Listen very carefully to the verse that is being recited here.
Stand before you as the first Muslim mayor in our city's history.
Muslim,
this
Muslim,
year as the first Jummah
Muslim.
that I have attended in that new position.
Oh, the killing of the infidels by the sword.
For context, I grew up Muslim. I studied the Quran and Islam for years. I wore a hijab on my head. And the verse that you just heard is from the Quran. It's Surah 9, verse 5, and it's often referred to by many scholars as the verse of the sword. I mean, this guy kind of has no shame. On January 2nd, 2026, 16 different landmarks across the state of New York were illuminated in green to mark the launch of Muslim American Heritage Month. One of those sites being the One World Trade Center. The green lighting was chosen because green is typically associated with the religion of Islam. For some people, especially the families that were affected by 9/11, that symbolism felt like a slap in the face. Felt like it was a slap in the face to me. And you want to know where I was during 9/11? I was in a Muslim private school with a hijab on my head, and we had to evacuate because people were calling the school and threatening to you know what. I can't even imagine what the families of the victims of 9/11 must have felt when they walked by the One World Trade Center and it was lit up green for the launch of Muslim American Heritage Month. What? And now we see a video circulating online of the mayor's first Jumu'ah prayer as mayor, and this verse is recited? What's going on? As an Arabic speaker who can read Arabic, I can confirm to you that that is indeed what that verse translates to. Other passages that are often discussed alongside this one is Surah 9, verse 29. This verse speaks about fighting opposing groups until they submit to a political authority and pay a tax that's called the jizya. And the jizya is meant to subdue and humiliate them. All of this, of course, raises a much larger question about symbolism, context, and how historical religious texts are viewed in modern political spaces. Let's just be honest for a second. If any other religion recited wartime scripture while a politician was present, would people stay silent about it? Honestly.
It's amazing. You know, Jeff, she's like, She's like the Persian Jessica Rabbit. She has that same kind of like sleepy eye
Right.
look to her. You know,
Yeah.
like, you know, she has the remember that Jessica, what was that? That was a cartoon movie. I don't know, way back in the day. But here's I don't know. I was looking at her, I was like, why does she look familiar to me? It almost looks like the Persian version of Jessica
That's what it
Rabbit.
is. I think you're right.
You
Oh my
go.
God. Oh my God, that's funny.
Listen very
funny.
carefully to the
You know, let's see. Let's take a look here. So here we go. Yeah, there's something going on there. It's the Jessica.
It's very
Jessica
similar.
Rabbit. I don't know. I have to read one of my favorite people. There's so many of them on. I have like a top 5 favorites on X, but LH Gray has become. Do not miss one of her posts. She is phenomenally brutal, and I love reading brutal, on point when it comes down to this. And I'll read this one. This is what she's commenting on this video. Houston, we have a fucking problem. This isn't symbolism. This is a declaration of war delivered at the perfect Arabic cadence while the newly elected mayor of New York City sat there like a conquering sultan. This video below by this gorgeous ex-Muslim sister didn't interpret anything. She translated it word for word. Surah 9, verse 5. The verse of the sword recited at the very podium where Mandami gave his victory speech at the Al Khamenei Islamic Center. Not some dusty historical footnote, not context from 632 AD, live in 2026 in the city that bears the scars of 9/11. She nailed it with a precision only someone who survived the indoctrination can deliver. Oh, the killing of the infidels by the sword. That's not poetic flourish. That's classical tafsir. It has been Kathir al-Tabari, every heavyweight of Islamic jurisprudence, calling the 9/5 abrogating verse. It cancels out every earlier Meccan plea for peace and no compulsion in religion. Nask, baby. The later revolution supersedes Muhammad's final marching orders before he died. Hunt the Mushrin polytheists, in which practice means anyone not submitting to Islamic political supremacy until they convert, pay jizya, or die. And jizya, the apologist, lie to you. It's not a tax. Quran 9, verse 29 is explicit. Until they pay jizya with the willing submission and feel themselves subdued, humiliated, broken, second class in their own homeland. That's the psychological warfare baked into the doctrine. Make takfir finance its own subjugation while knowing his blood is halal if he resists. This isn't extremism. This is orthodoxy. The Imam wasn't rogue. He was faithful. Mamdani didn't flinch, didn't walk out, didn't issue a clarifying statement. He sat there, let the sword verse wash over the crowd like a coronation anthem. Because in the Islamic worldview, political power is religious power. The Ummah doesn't separate mosque and state. That's a Western delusion we keep projecting on the people who laugh behind closed doors. This is textbook supremacist grooming. The same mind virus that tells a child in madrasa that non-Muslims are Najis, spiritually filthy, now sits in City Hall wearing a Democrat socialist mask. Mandami knows exactly what 9 verse 5 means. Every practicing Muslim with even the basic tajweed training does. The ex-Muslim girl laid it bare. This verse isn't about defensive war. It's offensive, expansionist, eternal. It's the theology engine that turned Persia into Iran, Constantinople into Istanbul, and now eyeing the West as the final prize. They didn't hide it. They hid it in Arabic. That's the tell. Takia in action, not the cartoon version, but the strategic one. Speak softly in English for the cameras, roar in the mother tongue for the faithful. And the useful idiots on the left, they'll call you Islamophobic for noticing, because admitting the obvious would collapse their entire multicultural fantasy. This man swore an oath to the very book that commands the ultimate loyalty above the Constitution. He didn't just attend a mosque event. He let the doctrine of jihad be recited at the benediction over his political ascension. New York just elected a walking, talking embodiment of 9/5. And the rest of us and the infidels who built this city are supposed to pretend expression is diversity. Fuck that. The sword verse isn't ancient history. It's a live manifesto. And the man who smiled through it just became your mayor. Sleep tight, New York. The Imam wasn't praying for peace. He was praying for your submission.
Right.
Powerful words, Jeff.
Super powerful. And it's all about conquest. It's also wherever a mosque is built, that becomes their holy ground, and they typically won't tear it down, won't move it, won't anything, which is why they typically will prefer taking over previous locations of churches or synagogues, because it's also a form of conquest, and so we have to really be, very cognizant of all of those things. And it is symbolism, if they have that little bit, right, they know what's going on, the others don't. And it's through conquest, through colonialism, if you think about the true colonizers, right? And so this whole fictitious narrative that been laid out by the left at the behest of the Islamists, because the left are just the mouthpieces of the Islamists at this point, especially as they let them spread throughout the Western society at a rate like we've never seen before. But if you really think about, that, purposeful doctrine, and they're apologizing for their behavior. They're not a multicultural, cohesive group. They don't accept others within their community, and they're working towards, a global conquest, which is what they did throughout the Middle East. And you don't have to take anybody's word for it. Just go back and research what happened in Lebanon. Lebanon had a large, thriving Christian community. Go see how that's doing right now. Not so good. Then they'll say, "Oh, it's Israel's fault." Oh, somehow Israel, gets involved in the fact that the Islamists sponsored by Iran, for all those years, murdered the Christians in Lebanon. What about the Christians that were in Iraq and the Christians that were in other parts of the Middle East? Didn't work out so well.
Not at all.
And so, this is something that's now happening in Europe on our soil in the US, and it's happening at an exponential rate right now. So it takes people like her to be courageous. Why did they put somebody like him at the head of the greatest city in the United States? Well, it's soon to not be the greatest city, because they're going to lose other financial institutions to places like Texas, Florida, and Georgia.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's remarkable. It really is. And that LH Gray, man, I could do a whole podcast. She's just a phenomenal writer, just a gift with words, and she totally tore that apart. And that was something that I read every post she puts up, because she's really fantastic. But Jeff, you teased this in the beginning. It's amazing to see this, but if the Democrat policies are so good, who brought this up recently? Wasn't it one of the podcasters out in California? If it's so good, why aren't people moving to these mecca of liberalism like LA? And why aren't they moving to Washington if they're so amazing? Why are people fleeing in record numbers? Well, look at this right here. Starbucks founder Howard Schultz, a complete left loon, if you know him, announces that his family is leaving Seattle for Florida the same day Democrats passed income tax on Washington State. Starbucks corporate is moving to Nashville. Now, if you know, the very first Starbucks ever is in downtown Seattle. It's at the Seattle, right across from the Seattle market there. Jeff, you ever been there, right?
I've been
very
there.
unassuming. Looks like any other Starbucks store, but the very first one is there, which I've been to many times. When I used to go there for business meetings, I'd always try to go there to the market area there. But he says, and it's funny, he puts up this like feel-good message, like, listen, 44 years ago, Sherry and I made the cross-country trip from New York City to Seattle in our 1979 Audi, along with Jonas, our golden retriever, starting a new life. Sherry be the breadwinner in the family, taking a career in design. I started a new job in September of '82 at a place called Starbucks. Back then, the Pike's Place Starbucks, that's where the center is, only sold whole coffee. And today it's the most visited Starbucks in the world. And this guy turned it into something amazing. And he says this: the spirit of continuing forward, he underpinned our approach to life and the business, philanthropy, and most importantly, our family. For those of you who know us well, we've entered the retirement phase of our life. See how he's framing it, Jeff? Retirement. So retirees go where? Florida. He's not saying I'm leaving because the oppressive system. You see how he does that? How nice. Last year, we traveled a dozen of places around the world, places we were too busy to see when we were building Starbucks and raising kids. We've moved to Miami for our next adventure together. We're enjoying the sunshine of South Florida. We'll lure our kids to the East Coast, be closer to it as they raise their own. Blah, 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 blah. See ya. Good riddance. We're out of here. I love that.
He's another one that slowly but surely is turning to the right. It just takes time. He's spoken out. They came after him. They wanted to pay tax. They wanted to take away from him. And he said, yeah, I made a lot of money, but why should I, I sacrificed and, ice wine. It's saying, he grew up in public housing. So he's the American dream. He's the epitome of
Right.
the American dream.
You wanna
Came from
crush
zero, less than zero, built up a globally recognized brand, and they're jealous and they're trying to crush him for it. And here he is saying, I'm not down with that. You
Well,
can't come after
yeah.
me and crush me.
We'll
for it.
take this story. Another liberal loon place here. Let's go with this one here.
This is awesome. I love this one. This is such a feel-good story of the day, because Yamaha Motors, which has been in California, I think since 1979, is also, getting ready to leave the liberal bastion. So brutal loss for Gavin Newsom. Lots of big corporations are fleeing California. It's such good news, and they're pulling out of California after 50 years, and they're going to relocate to Kennesaw, Georgia. So
That's
they're going to be
amazing.
moved out officially starting towards the end of 26, with completion of their total move by 28. And that's not in this story; it's a different story. But massive migration of big companies that are fleeing. And we can think over to what Palantir did when Palantir left Colorado. They did it within a week, and they did it without telling anybody. All of a sudden, they start reporting from their Miami headquarters.
Jeff, one of the refineries paid $1 billion fine just to leave. Okay,
Just to leave.
You know it's bad. So this guy, this goofball car salesman, this guy's the dumbest person in America right here. He really thinks highly of himself, but nobody else does. So much so that the two leaders in the governor race are both Republicans, and they're holding the majority, which means that probably will be a Republican governor, because the other ones are polling so low that the two guys, one of them is going to throw his support behind the other one. But this, because of his policies, he's going to try to run for president. He's going to get laughed. All you have to do is bring all the companies that left, the high taxes, everything. California is a disaster. And I'll tell you what, you get a Republican in there, clean it up in about a couple years. Totally clean it up. I mean, it's pretty impressive.
Man, I was just talking to someone yesterday about that. He was telling me how he used to travel for work all the time to California, and he said he hated going to California. And I said, it's dirty. He goes, it was so dirty. It's so unexpected how dirty it is. San Francisco, all the way south. It's just, you go to LA and just everything. There was nothing.
San Diego's nice.
About it any longer.
Well, San Diego leans conservative, right? You can kind of tell.
And it's beautiful down there.
It's beautiful down there. Clean, beautiful city, clean.
Yep.
And the best Mexican restaurant, man. I'll tell you what, San Diego has some great, and it's so super close to the border, so you can just like pop down to the border for some
the weather's
but Mexican is phenomenal. Yeah, San Diego is fantastic, but again, a little more of a conservative. And then, I mean, you get outside the big city, it's very red. All the farmers and and that stuff, it's all red.
Oh yeah, if you go to wine
country, fam. So this is pretty good right here. So Chuck Schumer,
Chucky.
Now, sometimes they do say the quiet part out loud, Jeff, and that right there, this is I've been laughing so hard at this recently, because the Democrats want the Republicans they want to know they're not going to pay for ICE, open up the airports and all this, unless they hear that ICE will not be present at the polling places during the midterms. Well, that's weird. Why would you care unless your illegal voters are going to turn up and vote, right? So sometimes they say the quiet part out loud. Like, they have zero shame. Like, all this stuff used to be kind of behind the scenes. But look at Schumer right here. Listen to this dope.
Voter registration. It allows ICE to kick tens of millions of people off the rolls.
Illegals.
Off the rolls.
Illegals.
And they don't tell them until Election Day. And you show up and you say, you're not registered anymore. You're not.
Oh, no. So the illegals turn up and realize they're not registered anymore. Jeff, they're not even hiding it anymore.
Not registered here. You're not on the rolls. And they say, I didn't know that. This is a bill that destroys the country, and it is not about showing ID when you show up to vote. It's about the voter registration rolls, destroying them, purging them, not letting people.
I don't know who the dude is in back, but he's not even buying this shit. Look at his face. He's like rolling his eyes and shit back there. Look at
he's like, that look.
God,
he's like,
not destroying them, purging them, not letting people know, and taking the rights in a algorithm put together by ICE.
There's no algorithm, dude.
No,
It's,
look at that
are
look
you
right there.
illegal? And are you on the voter rolls
Right.
and you're getting purged?
Put together by
Yeah, this isn't
Doge and
Facebook.
No, this is the best part right here. He says
I
it was
love
put
this guy,
together
guys.
by Doge and Elon
Right.
Musk. Yes, at least he's giving credit where credit's due.
put together by
That's
Doge
right.
and Musk. It's an outrage.
that's right.
And that's why so many people don't
You
want to
gotta
pass
love it. The
So many
algorithm.
so he's saying that
Based
people
on an algorithm.
they don't want to pass it, Jeff, because they want their legal base to vote. This is insane to me. And
It's so great.
then Schumer.
Definitely a special place in hell for him.
Oh yeah, there is. Well, he's lost so much support. He'll get ousted by AOC. Will run against him and primary him, and of course they'll elect the dumb bartender. Here we go. So Chuck Schumer put this out. The SAVE Act is Jim Crow 2.0. It would disenfranchise tens of millions of people. If Trump is saying he won't sign any bills until the SAVE Act is passed, so be it. There will be total gridlock in the Senate. Senate Democrats will not help pass the SAVE Act under any circumstances. Well, he just got ratioed right here, Jeff. Look at this. Here's Zeke Arkham. It says, Dear Chuck Schumer, hi, black dude here. I can trace my family ancestry to slavery. I even know where they were slaves. My mom experienced Jim Crow. I think I've watched every episode of Eyes on the Prize when I was younger. With that said, can you directly explain to me how the SAVE Act is Jim Crow 2.0? Literally every black person I know has ID. Literally every black person I know has a car or at least a ride. Literally every black person I know knows how to vote, well, except the ones with felonies, but they don't count. With your advanced white liberal thinking, you must know more than me. Apparently, as I experience daily on this app, talking about X, white liberals are the experts on being black, even more than actual black folks. Perhaps you could explain to me like I'm 5. I'd look it up on the internet, but Kathy Hochul has already told me I don't know what a computer is, and Joe Biden said I can't navigate it anyway. Looking forward to your answer. No hugs, Z. Crushed him, man.
I love
and
it.
he's right. And I've seen the man on the street. What an insult. I mean, Kathy Hochul, black people don't know what a computer is. Most racist people in the world, these people. They really are. They don't know what they don't know. They don't know how to what a computer is. What are you talking about? And he doesn't have idea. I like the one interview we always play where the guy man's on the street. Like, do you have an idea? Of course. You know where the DMV is? Yeah, it's right over on blah, 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 blah. I'm like, so they supposedly love this base, but then they treat them like the most racist humans on the planet, Jeff. It's unbelievable, intolerable. And, part of the people that are holding up this SAVE Act are people like Senator Murkowski, who's
Right.
Trump won Alaska by 21 points. 21 points. And here's Murkowski.
And when you hear what she has to say is insane.
She's a nut job.
Totally
But
off.
Think about how does a Democrat masquerading as a Republican get voted if it's not shenanigans, Jeff. That's why she doesn't want it.
Stand on the Save America Act. Do you, support getting this legislation passed to protect elections?
Not as it is drafted, no.
Why not?
The implementation in a rural state like Alaska is going to disenfranchise an extraordinary majority. And while I support citizenship voting and voting ID, I want to make sure that it's implementable.
Makes no sense whatsoever. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, for an old lady, she was motoring, wasn't she? She really wanted to get away from there. That young girl could barely keep up with her.
I know.
I'm like,
Stand on the Save America Act. Do you, support getting this legislation passed to protect elections?
Not as it is.
Not as it is. What would you like differently? Nothing.
Nothing.
Here's how it is. You need to have an ID to vote
against it.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
You need to, if you want to do a mail-in ballot, you got to show an ID so that you can, like how it used to be. I don't know how, but again, when you're asking the questions, the question is, well, Trump won Alaska by 21 points. This is the will of people, and all the polls show Democrats and Republicans, like 70-75% want this. So why are you against the American people? That's the question I would ask. Of course, they always
it's so straightforward. The bill, if you read the summary of the bill, it's just spot on. There's nothing hidden, not a lot of, shit, just crammed into it.
It's very simple.
It's very, very straightforward. Look at this. Look at this bill. So requires individuals to provide documentary proof of U.S. citizenship when registering to vote. Specifically, the bill prohibits states from accepting and processing an application to register to vote in federal elections unless the applicant's present documentary proof of U.S. citizenship. That specifies what documents are considered acceptable. So they talk about the real ID. The bill prohibits states from registering an individual to vote in federal election unless at the time that he applies to vote, the individual provides documentary proof. So it's just like over and over and over again. The same thing. You have to be a U.S. citizen. You can't register to vote. And you can't vote, and that's it. It's very, very straightforward. And that's
all other countries
require
require
a little more to it.
That's the
and
other
all the
thing.
other everyone else requires it. Yeah,
how come other countries don't care?
Yeah.
And then of course there's John Thune. Elon Musk sent a warning to John Thune. Look at this. So
it's a short bill.
Somebody posted here, Gunther Ingerman said, does John Thune realize how bad he's fucking up? Elon Musk wrote, not yet.
He
not
will.
yet. He's
Once
about
he gets,
to. I wish we had time to go into some of these other ones. Data Republican totally found out. This is a great one. We just don't have time to read the whole thing. But basically, she found out this PAC is running called Punchbowl News. And he was claiming that all the influencers, that was a poll of the influencers. It wasn't a poll of the influencers. But how he's basically making money off the back of this PAC and running it's a podcast, and people pay for advertising. And then those advertisers obviously can contribute to his reelection campaign, and so on and so forth. And we have things going on with let's see, where's this other one? Good. So Virginia, this is funny. I mean, I laugh at stuff like this. You can do this all the time, all you want. You can ban guns. So this a man from Bangladesh introduced a bill, SB 749, that got passed, and it's an extensive gun bill, a gun ban bill in Virginia. Of course, they got that nut job who implemented 50 new taxes. This guy has talks about this, but it's going to be overturned. You can't look at what's already got. You can't even restrict magazines. You can't. It's like the Constitution is very, very, very firm on what it is. It's like shall not be infringed. You have the right to bear arms. That's it. That's pretty simple.
From Bangladesh just banned American citizens from owning firearms in Virginia. Saddam Salim, a state senator in Virginia, has crafted SB 749, banning all types of the possession, sale, etc. of firearms. It has passed the legislation. It's going to the governor's desk. She is a hardcore leftist and will most likely sign it.
And it means nothing because it's unconstitutional and will get overturned. But they know that it takes time to do it. They're going to do a bunch of stupid stuff in the interim. But you cannot. This bill will not stand. It'll be 9-0 in the Supreme Court. It's a very, very, very simple bill. It's pathetic. It's gone.
Got to get rid of activists like that.
You got to get rid of them. And another great thing that's happening, Jeff, as a result, I say it's a result of the shift towards, Trump and other things. You see what's happening with Malay. You see what's happened down in Chile. But let's check this out. And Austria is about ready to go full on Hungary here. Austria is far right. I hate when they say far right. It's just right, dude. It's the far right that they try to do to put somebody down. Oh, they're a far right extremist group. No, they just believe in normal stuff. So Austria's right re-immigration party, the FPO, is poised to sweep elections. Look at that. Bam. They're gonna so the FPO, that's everywhere except and so when they're running on re-immigration, in other words, all the people that came in, like the Muslims, they're deporting them all. So they're basically running on Trump's messaging, and Austria is taking a page out of Hungary, which Hungary never took in, and Poland never took in the illegals, but they are like, we are getting rid of them, and it's really fantastic. I mean, I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but immigration is the center of gravity. Re-immigration, not just a smear word from opponents. The FPO used it in 2024 manifesto. National identity and assimilation matter. They're socially conservative. They're especially hostile to what they call political Islam. On Europe, they're Eurosceptic, not generic conservative. On foreign policy, they're neutralist and softer on Russia than the Austrian mainstream. Economically, they're not libertarians. Amen. They want lower taxes, support for home ownership, help workers, small businesses, no new taxes. Geez, this sounds familiar, doesn't it, Jeff? On law and order, they want a harder state, more police, harsher crime policy, and deportation of foreign criminals. They also like direct democracy and use of referendums. I mean, fantastic. My God. How fantastic is that?
And then how about we jump over to South America and go down to Chile.
Yeah, let's do that. That's my wife's home country there, and you know, I knew when this last guy was elected. I'm like, you watch. I said the crime's going through the roof. I know, because I follow politics there. I know crime's going to go through the roof. But this guy Cass, he ran against that socialist last time, and the people thought he was too old. The 35-year-old socialist won. Sounds like a Mandami type character, which he is.
Yep.
So Jose Antonio Cast assumes a new president of Chile. What a great moment for the right in Latin America. And when they went right, you know, my wife lived there under, you know, a dictator. Some of the family was you know, ostracized, came here because they were attacking them. They were killing any opposition, anybody that spoke out against, you know. And here we have. Look at this right here. The embrace of freedom. Javier Milei and Maria Corina Machado together at Jose Antonio's Cast inauguration. The terror of Latin American dictators. Look at that.
You gotta love it.
Gotta love it. So it was great to watch them shake hands with the new president of Chile. The fact that they're there for the inauguration was just phenomenal. And this says the inauguration of Jose Antonio Cast marks the end of one of the darkest periods in Chile's recent history under the administration of Gabriel Boric and the direct oversight of the Communist Party. The country went from being a model of prosperity to a stagnant state with an anemic economy and a runaway public debt. Boric also surrendered national sovereignty by allowing organized crime and drug trafficking to take over the streets. It got so bad, you know, for my wife's friends down there, my brother-in-law. I mean, just burning places down, just like they carjack and hit you from behind, shooting people, taking their car. It was usually a phenomenal place, but a lot of this came down from other criminals basically poured into Chile. So it's not even Chileans that are doing this, which is just horrific, to be honest. I mean,
and they let it happen. So now we're seeing a trend in South America with Argentina, El Salvador, Chile, that whole region.
And the other one. Where's the other one? Conchado, where she's from. They just that recently went right as well. But this is typical, Jeff. This is how the liberals cover this story right here. Breaking: Zionist Nazi Cast wins in Chile.
Jesus,
look at that! And look, he destroyed his rival. Look at that! It was a hefty.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, it's just like they're gonna. Yeah, obviously his family does have ties to Nazi Germany, but they did flee Germany, and but they always want to, you know, and like so. If you're worried about this thing with you love Israel and this, well, here's what's happening. You're seeing stuff like Lebanon wanting to broker peace deals, calling on the Trump administration, wanting to be part of the Abraham Accords. You're seeing the Abraham Accord. It's created peace in the Middle East. You're seeing Iran being taken down and Persia returned to the people, the rightful owners after 47 years. And who's doing all that? That's right. The man, the legend, Trump is doing that, whether people like it or not. But this is something that's been trying to be done for thousands of years. It's happening. They want peace in the Middle East. People said it could never be achieved, but it turns out all they needed was a new president.
That's it. And you saw that it was over the past couple of days. There's a possibility that they dropped a Moab. We haven't seen a Moab in.
I've been doing some digging on that. It doesn't look like it was a Moab. It didn't have the radius. It didn't have the 1 mile radius. It looked like it was pretty big, but I don't know if it was a Moab.
A little more contained. Yeah, there's so much discussion. It would be very cool if it was a Moab. You know, that'd be that bomb, the mother of all bombs. When they built that, I mean, it was so impressive when they dropped it over in Iraq, and it just vacuum seals. It's for taking out obviously square footage or mileage or whatever, but it's all about what's going on underneath. It just vacuum seals that, just compresses everything. So it was so impressive.
I guess you can't.
Mm-mm.
So here we go. Here's a narrative collapsing in real time about Iran. Check this out, Jeff.
Start therefore by asking you, how do you see the situation in your country over the last 10 days? The relentless bombings, the manner in which Ali Khamenei was assassinated, and the likelihood of even more violence. How do you see the situation from where you are today outside Iran?
That kind of university.
So you like how he framed the question, Jeff?
Yeah. We know what side he's coming out on.
Yeah, no shocker there. Him and his big goofy glasses.
That's right. Yeah, what's going on with that
Hi,
stuff?
so thank you for having me, and thank you for finding it important to see the point of view of an Iranian. Throughout this interview, I'm going to try and voice the majority of Iranians' voices here and try and make the world understand, as much as it sounds cruel. The Iranian people have been asking for help for many, many years now. You know, it's been 47 years that this regime has been in power. And at this point, it has reached a place where the Iranians have been massacred in January and in many, many other different dates in history where this regime has gone against them and where they had no voice and no power to overthrow them. So at the moment, you will see a majority of Iranians taking pictures and videos of the bombs coming into the country, but super excited because they know that they're targeted at the IRGC and at the regime. And they're so excited and they have so much hope that finally this regime is going to fall. Maybe.
You know, hold on. You know, you're saying they're excited by bombs, but let's be clear, Elnaz, we've seen a school which was bombed and more than 160 innocent schoolgirls died. And there is enough evidence that the Americans were involved in this. There are fears, therefore, that if this continues, more and more civilian lives will be lost. Aren't you concerned that all of this could only result in further destruction of your country and the possibility of a civil war breaking out? Doesn't that worry you? Or do you simply want the regime first out at all costs?
I love the leading questions here, Jeff.
Yeah. The way he spins, you know, the false narrative that's already been proven to be inaccurate, which is
already debunked.
The school, which was an Iranian missile, and it's all based on Iranian media. So how are you gonna, take that at face value?
Sure, the Americans killed all these kids. Oh, sure.
Yeah, right.
Of course, it worries everybody in Iran, and everybody is really sad about the fact that our country had to reach this point. But the 160 schoolgirls now are something that the world is seeing. But when the regime poisoned a full girls' school many years back, nobody paid attention. When the regime killed more than 40,000 people in January on the 8th and 9th, and then turned off the internet for the whole world so that nobody can talk about it, nobody paid attention to that. When the regime has been executing, we have the highest rate of executions in Iran. So many people, so many women, so many men, nobody pays attention to that. We Iranians know that there will be a lot of casualties, but we also know that there are casualties every day. There are more people dying when there is no war than when there is war. And this is something that will be very, very hard for people to understand. And people will think that I am for war. I'm not for war. Iranians are not for war. We don't want this. But we have no other way to remove this regime that has been killing its own people.
But it goes on and on. But she's being nice because she doesn't want to get kicked off there. But she's basically delivering this.
Chip, look who's here. Allie's here.
Allie, what's going on? We just did a story about Australia. Look at that. Good to see you. Good to see you.
It's Baghdad Bob Part 2.
It is Baghdad Bob Part 2. Everything's great. It's perfect in here. It's fantastic.
No problem.
And it's funny. Like here's look what's happening in Belgium right here. Look at this. Here you go. Here's the invaders. But these people are peaceful, Jeff. We're told they're peaceful.
Exactly.
We're told they're peaceful, fun-loving people. That they want nothing but the best. They want all but police, normal stuff. It's just amazing to me. Let me find this one post here. Where is it here? Let me look through the
Canada, and there's all sorts of.
The Canada one is what I wanted to play, but I wanted to play this one. Goldie Gamari, this is fantastic. She says, before I play this clip, I want to preface it with this right here from Goldie Gamari. She says, oh, look, the idiot who kicked me out of the caucus for Islamophobia 2 years ago because I was raising awareness about the radical Islam in Canada is now talking about Islamic sleeper cells in Canada. Doug Ford, you idiot fat fuck. I told you so. She got kicked out because she's trying to warn it. And now we have the premier.
Of course. Why wouldn't they be there? It's
and Doug Ford is the premier of Ontario. Listen to him.
We got any indication from police that these shootings in the synagogue thoughts on this shooting at the consulate are related in any way to same people?
Of course, related.
Yeah, no, we haven't had any information on that. But again, this is just me speaking. I believe there's sleeper cells all over the world, as we know. They're in the U.S., they're in Canada here, and we have to weed these people out and hold them accountable. Because again, folks, we all grew up here, very peaceful, loving.
Yeah, well, you see, it's a little bit too late there, boss man.
Change.
It's a little bit too. It's a little too late.
Canada's got too big of a population offset at this point. I don't know what they're going to do.
Well, they're gonna. It's Canada will fall. I mean, that's kind of how it's going to go. I mean, I don't see it being really any different to you.
Look,
here's the Netherlands, Jeff. We're seeing a lot of this. Look at the Netherlands. They made a boy get on his knees. Well, geez, though, if you saw if you saw it the other way around, it would be a different story, wouldn't it? It's just so sad to see these countries.
The shocking part of that story is how tall the kid is when he stands up. He could crush the little kid.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's like when you have too many of them, it's being overwhelming. And then, Jeff, I don't know about playing this next clip. It's pretty gruesome. But here you have in Brazil a vendor came up to him and his family. He was pushing a stroller, and he wanted him to buy something from him. The father said, "No, thank you." The guy pulled out a gun, and it didn't end well for him. And guys, I'm going to just preface this, say this is pretty gory. So the guy took over and basically took care of the guy. Here he is. Mess with his family, pull out a gun in his family. I mean, a knife.
Oh, e ele com criança ainda. E animal tem criança,
cara,
ali.
Yeah, he was, came up to him and pulled a knife on him, and the guy pulled it out of his hand and stabbed him. And he's sitting there waiting for police, but you got to be able to. And he's a martial arts guy, so he knew exactly how to remove the blade and take care of the guy. But the guy came at him with a knife, and he eliminated the threat. And that's what you have to learn how to do: not be submissive, take charge. He went right to the side, and he's waiting for the police to show up. He had many witnesses, but he took care of the threat.
Yeah,
that's how it's done, Jeff.
Fortunately, in today's day and age, you got to be trained. You got to go through training. You got to practice, and hope you never have to use it. If you walk around armed, hope you never have to use it. And that's just society today. And it's before it's like, hey, we live in a great country over here because we can walk around armed, and other countries they're not so lucky.
That's right. That's why it's very peaceful. That's why you don't have people pulling guns and all the gun violence. People from other countries. Oh, there's so many gun violence. Yeah, it's so funny how it's in gun zones, right? It's no guns allowed, like at schools and all those other things. And the schools that did arm the teachers, that's weird. There haven't been any school shootings there, huh? No school shootings whatsoever. When states that allowed their teachers to be able to carry. No gun violence, and that's how it pretty much works. When you restrict an area with guns, you're going to get gun violence. People can't protect themselves. They come in, but knives, cars, whatever it is, people are going to do whatever it's going to take, Jeff, to make it work and make it happen there. Here we have, I thought we'd end on some light notes here because we kind of went pretty hard. I don't know. Did you see this cutout that they had made of the Supreme Leader? They put his head on a cardboard body, and the guy's like kissing it. And they were carrying it around and stuff. Well, Iran asked Democrats for tips on running the country with a dead leader. So, you see of Obama and the cutout of Khomeini. It's just unbelievable, of the Supreme Leader. You have to love that one. Also, Jeff, another tragedy. New Ayatollah dead after being accidentally left out in the rain. He got all wet.
Oh my God.
I mean, the Babylon, it never misses, Jeff.
They're going to take them all out. They
And the
can't.
Democrats condemn Pete Hegseth for using money to feed soldiers when it could have been gone to Somali daycare. Come on, Pete. What are you thinking?
They had steak. They had all sorts of great stuff for the soldiers.
Yeah, they had all kinds of great stuff. Thank God, man.
Yeah.
But that's it, Jeff. We burned through pretty much everything.
Are they saying we don't have to carry guns? Well, we don't have to either, but we have the ability to.
Yeah, that's what you say. But believe me, the people when we were in Australia, what I heard overwhelmingly from people that came up to us, Jeff and I, showed us their arsenals, showed us their guns. They said, you carry guns, we carry them too. Don't believe the Australian propaganda. They asked me, one guy said, do you believe the propaganda news in your country? I said, no. He goes, why would you believe it coming out of our country? I'm like,
that's a very good point.
Very good point. And then I can show my arsenals. Check this out. This is our guns. This is what we have. They go, yeah, the pussies in the city gave up their guns, but yeah, you don't have to carry them. Sure, it's fine, but don't worry. The invaders will stab the stabbings, and look what happened in Australia at Bondi Beach. Yeah, sure. I mean, thank God one guy overpowered him, and he ended up getting shot a couple times too because he didn't use the gun because he wasn't trained. You take the gun from someone, you shoot him 6 times in the head. You just eliminated the threat. But
you take it to be prepared.
But he took a couple bullets because he didn't stop the threat, and you have to stop the threat. So
Chad says, "I carry a gun because the cop is too heavy."
There you go. Yeah, it's like it is funny to me. It's like I remember. This is good. XRP Hollywood. If a man with no arms has a gun on his waist, is he armed or unarmed? Man, XRP Hollywood. Whoa.
We're going that way. There was another one. Hang on. Let me see if I can find this other one. I thought I pinned it, but I might not have. Hang on. Here it is.
But that's a good point, though.
Why did Ripple and XRP go to couples therapy? Because XRP kept saying, I'm fast, cheap, and ready for cross-border love. But Ripple is still waiting for the SEC to approve the relationship.
Damn, that's a good one. Kind of love that. And Ali says, at this stage, we are, luckily, incidents are minimal. Yeah, they are minimal, but when it starts cranking up, you'll start getting the knife violence, which you see over in the UK. It's not reported on. They're like, guns are bad, but meanwhile, people are getting stabbed left and right over there by the invaders, right? The people who come over don't want to assimilate. If you don't want to come over and adopt Australian, customs and believe and assimilate into Australian culture, then don't come. Stay home. Stay in your shithole third world country, because that's what you're going to do. You're going to turn. Now, I've seen video of Sydney that looks pretty rough, to be honest with you. It doesn't look like any place that I'd like to visit. You see London. I saw it 25 years ago. I was like, holy cow, I was shocked then. It's gotten a lot worse. They're closing down pubs. They're getting rid of British culture. And it's like, if I go to Great Britain, I want to experience that culture. I'm not interested in third world shithole culture. If I wanted to, I would make the journey there, but nobody really wants to do that. Same in I know somebody just came back from Paris and they're like, dude, you don't even have a clue at how bad it is. So I've seen video. He goes, it's worse than what you've seen. It's dangerous. It's bad. You go to the Eiffel Tower. People are about ready to knife you. They're trying to steal your money. They're trying to sell you stupid crap. They surround you. I was like, oh, sounds fantastic. Because that's what I like. That's what I think of when I go to Paris, friends. If I go to Paris, I want to enjoy, the Parisian culture. I want to have beautiful wine, dinners, the art, that's what I want to. But what do you experience? Shithole, garbage on the streets. I'm sorry, man. This is why we're getting rid of it in the United States. Islam's not compatible with Western style life. Right. And that's why we pound it over and over again. It's like, and I'm not talking, believe me, there are great Muslims in the world. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the radicals who believe
in the West that have come to the West.
Yeah, and they want Sharia law. If you're for Sharia law, you need to get kicked out immediately, because Sharia law is you believe what we believe, or we take your head. First, we tax the shit out of you, then we take your head off. And the problem that I have with that is the good Muslims, the ones that are law abiding, the ones that do assimilate, the ones that don't disrupt by pull the prayer mats out and start praying at some public place. Those Muslims are very respectful, but they can't speak out because they'll be the first ones to get the heads chopped right off clean. So
there was one more. There was another big story here. that we didn't cover.
Which one was it?
Kind of a breakthrough in the EU Parliament.
Oh, I have that video, I think. Let me see. Do I have that one?
We're passing some regulation over there.
I don't know if I brought that one or not.
Like the next big move over at the EU level, which is completely unexpected.
Yeah, I think I don't know if I downloaded that video or not. Let me see if I can. I know I pulled it up. Let's see. Gas lines in China.
No,
that's not it.
Here's one.
I don't. Oh, here it is. I got it. Okay. Yep.
And then there's a whole.
I don't know. For some reason.
A whole post to go around with it. But
okay, you can take this one, Jeff. I'll put it up on screen here. You can read it, and then we got to get out of here.
No, it's an hour 15.
Let's do it. Take this one.
So this is really, I like this. But so we're seeing some major difference changes in the European Parliament's committee. So a right wing, again, they use right wing, just again, right. Majority passed a deportation regulation. All right factions, ECR, EKR, ESN voted together. This includes the conservatives. So the firewall has fallen on the European level. The new measures include trade sanctions for states refusing to take back migrants, lifetime entry bans for security threats, DNA age assessment for illegals, device their phones to determine origin, lifelong entry ban. There's a lot that has to happen of a first step in the right. OF is a first step in the right direction. The blockades against remigration are crumbling. The commission, our council might try to sabotage the decision, but still it's had a big impact already. So there's obviously stuff that's moving progressively, even at the EU level. Hopefully they can disband the EU altogether. That'd be even more impressive and just give back sovereign rights to the countries. But then, we'll see how they can potentially neuter the slush fund of the EU. Just different ways to move money around, kind of like the United Nations.
Yeah, it's a huge development. It's really welcome, and people are tired of it. I mean, these countries, and thank God for countries like Poland and Hungary that said, they're safe. They look at the Polish streets. You can walk around safe. There's no violence, nothing going on. They didn't bring in the invaders. When you invite the invaders in, who have no sanctity for life, they don't care about life. They don't care about anyone's life. They only care about implementing Sharia law and converting you and then conquering you. That's it. That's all they do. And it's like disturbing when I see 40 new mosques going up around Dallas, a red state. They're not combating it. I see the foreign money pouring in to build these mosques. They call them peace centers or some garbage like that. But I mean, imagine any other religion. Imagine a group of Jews going to a public place and disrupting it, or praying or reading the Torah inside of Times Square, or a bunch of Christians going with their Bibles and reading from the Bible. How come they'd be kicked out? But you can put your prayer mat down and pray to Mecca. And if you guys do a little bit of
in the middle of the street,
disrupting traffic, public places where nobody's going to gather, let alone an Islamic cult. I mean, you have to sort of call it the way it is. And look, these are the people that are into Sharia law. Sharia law, they want it passed. They want it. All these countries conquered. And as they start seeping into government, the UK is done, man. I have a lot of hope for Australia, but the UK is over. These lefty governments that they get in power, I don't even think they're the will of the people. I just think they're. You'll start seeing here next week. Supposedly, we're supposed to hear about the foreign intervention in the 2020, and is it part of the Five Eyes? Were Five Eyes part of it? Was it Australia? Was it the UK? I mean, was it our supposed allies? But there's foreign intervention, and I also heard that Maduro was cooperating, talking about the voter manipulation. Apparently, he's been singing like a bird. That's the reports that I've heard. So it'll be interesting to see this play out. But there's definitely proof of what's been going on. People have been saying it's a guy who's barely can talk and walk. Joe Biden did not get more votes than somebody like a Barack Obama. Just never happened.
Yeah, exactly.
115% of the population in 3 of the biggest counties in Wisconsin. 115%, more people that they actually have population, and most of the people in the United States only 60% vote. So, all right,
I don't know why
that's
this
it,
is not
Jeff.
open. Chip, there's one more that we can leave with here. Iran cancels plan to attack California after seeing Gavin Newsom already destroyed it.
Oh my God, that's the B never misses, man. They are just absolutely 100% the best, man.
Yeah,
the guy buying up churches in the UK positive. That's cool. I haven't heard about that, Charles. That's good to hear.
They're also setting fire to churches throughout Europe. All these historic churches have been burning down, and they caught them on video. A group of them they set the big wood doors. They set them on fire, and they're all celebrating as they start burning. And it's just disgusting.
Disgusting
to watch,
man.
and then they do nothing over in Europe. That's not going to fly over here. Come over here and try some of that here. See how that works out.
Jeff. Not good at all. Not good.
Not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen. Anyway, guys, we'll see you guys back here on Saturday morning. Saturday, we got a guest coming on. You guys are gonna just solidify it, but we'll have a guest here, so don't miss that. It'll be a great conversation, a very timely conversation about crypto, and you'll hear more about it in the coming days. But we'll see you guys back here on Saturday. Jeff, anything before we get out of here?
8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday. Be there.
Square. Or be square. Square. That's the fingers out in front of the face, drawing the square. There you go. Be square. Jeez, man. We're back in the 50s here. You know what I'm saying, Daddy-O? Okay. We got to get out of here. That's it. It's all we have tonight for you guys. We'll see you guys next one. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for your participation, and thank you for your support. Go join Zao DAO. Stop being a spectator and go do it. Thank you, guys. Talk to you guys soon. Chip and Jeff. Ow! See you on the next one.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.